Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How is everybody doing? Well, I have this explosive edition of Tropical Update here on MeteoMark's weather. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of concern here in the Atlantic Basin. Plus, we're dealing with, just off the left-hand corner of your screen here, Major Hurricane Hilary, which could become a major issue here for Southern California as we get later into the weekend into early next week. We're going to take a look at the impacts as well, and a system that we're going to be watching here into the central and western Gulf as we head towards the weekend into early next week. This is looking more promising for development, bumping up to that 40 to 50% chance. Could it affect parts of Texas? It just may. And a system that we're going to be watching here into the central and western Gulf as we head towards the weekend into early next week. This is looking more promising for development, bumping up to that 40 to 50% chance. Could it affect parts of Texas? It just may. All right, so let's take a look at the European model first, then we'll progress to the GFS after. Take a look. There's our 40% chance plus here into the central and western Gulf of Mexico here. Our next system behind it is a 30-plus chance, 40% chance with our Invest 99, and 70% chance with our Invest 98. We're just lining them up here. This is exactly what I was talking about in the previous video segment. As you can see here, the European model taking the first system from the Bahamas and pushing it across South Florida. This is right around, so this is right over the weekend here. So this is right into the evening hours of the 20th. So let's just back that up. There it is, Sunday morning. So you come from the Bahamas, then later Saturday into Sunday. There it is, crossing South Florida. So it's going to be a rainy time of it there, South and Central Florida. That pushes towards the west on the 21st. The evening of the 21st, it does start to get going, and I'll show you this. The GFS really does start to get a lot of convection with this system, but look at this towards the 22nd as we get towards 5 and 8 p.m. It looks like the 22nd here on the European model is where we're showing landfall right across either South Texas or northern Mexico, but there's going to be quite a bit of effects here. It's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be more wind shear or less wind shear. There's definitely going to be less dry air, which I'll show you on the mid-layer dry air analysis here momentarily. But as we come behind it, look at our next system here coming through the Lesser Antilles. This definitely, as we head throughout the weekend into early next week, look at the rainfall it's bringing across the islands here. By about the 21st here, Monday, we could be looking at potentially a named system, which is kind of crazy to even think about here into the Eastern Caribbean. But look at that as it approaches the island of Hispaniola. You know that the island of Hispaniola is a graveyard for tropical systems. And I don't think that'll be quite an exception here, because look at it kind of stalls here over eastern Hispaniola before trying to regenerate as it heads out over towards the open Atlantic. It's being steered by this trough. You see, look at our high pressure, subtropical high retreating. So this trough should keep it on a northeasterly flow. And if we just zoom in just a little bit, there's Hamilton, Bermuda here. See how it slides it up just to the south and to the east. It's going to be really close, though. So if you're in the Bermuda area, this is by the 28th, by the way. So it has slowed this system down significantly. One good news here on the European model, it's not showing much on the GFS, but the European model is showing a lot more rain here with a tropical wave here. Look at this. As we head towards the 27th into the 28th, we could be looking at heavy rains across Jamaica and parts of the Cayman Islands. Now, let's just back it up for our Invest 98 and 99 here. 98 into the red, 99 into the orange. Yeah, we're talking about a tremendous number of systems here we need to keep track of. But take a look at this. As we continue to push these systems towards the west, you see our Invest 99. It's starting to become what looks like absorbed into our system here across the Lesser Antilles and the Caribbean. And here's our system remaining a little bit weak here, 98L. As we continue to push that towards the west, look what's going on here. The system's kind of washing out. It's staying weaker, which essentially means it actually is escaping any of these weaknesses in this high-pressure system. So it's going to continue bending towards the west instead of recurving initially here. Now watch what happens as we continue in time, the 23rd, 24th. It does start to strengthen a little, and that is when it makes its exit here. There's that trough. So its moisture is essentially getting drawn up around this subtropical ridge here across the Northeast Atlantic. And then we have another system that could be blasting up here across the Cape Verde Islands, heading westward pretty quickly. And watch that as it heads westward here. It does become pretty strong here. You can see coming up around to the southern periphery of this high-pressure system. And look at all the waves lining up here off the Cape Verdes, the African coastline. It is going to be a busy time of it. Now, I wanted to show you something over here into the Gulf of Mexico. Look at this as we go in time. What is this? Yeah, so let's just go above here. I like to investigate these little features. What exactly is this? This looks like an Eastern Pacific system. Granted, this is pretty far out. This is the 25th of August. Look what happens here. It tries to cross over into the Gulf of Mexico, and it looks successful here on the European model. We'll have to see if that is even showing up on the GFS. And look what's going on here into the Eastern Pacific. This is Major Hurricane Hilary. Look at this system. This is going to be quite a buzzsaw as it heads towards the northeast here, or northwest, I should say. Look at the 19th here into, look at this. It's paralleling the coast pretty much all weekend of the Baja California. So there is going to be quite some effects here along the Baja of California as we continue to watch this system. It's going to remain a pretty major hurricane, at least until late weekend where it starts to weaken, thankfully. But look what's going to happen here. This system is going to impinge here on Southern California. Now, it looks like, you know, the worst of it usually stays on the east side, but this is a pretty formidable storm. Look at this by the 20th. It's starting to accelerate in speed. So that's worrisome. That means it's going to continue to keep more of its tropical characteristics as it's zooming to the north pretty quickly here. So we'll start to see effects here in Southern California, as you can see, as early as the 20th here. So Sunday into Monday, but most of Sunday, it's going to accelerate. Look at this. This is going to be a tremendous amount of rain, wind, and it's also going to stir up the heat, something awful. So, yeah, look how quickly it moves to the north and fizzles out. But it's definitely going to be quite a weather maker, wind, rain, and much higher temperatures. So keep an eye on that. And if you take a look here, it's actually going to make it into Southern California, wind speed 50 with gusts to 65. So it will be weakening to Tropical Storm Hilary by this point. It looks like the center of circulation is going to head just east of San Diego and Los Angeles here. Take a look at this. So this is quite something here. This is going to be a historic storm. This does not happen very often. All right, so taking a look at the GFS here on the Gulf of Mexico. This is the 21st. So there's the system. It basically is ejecting out of the Florida area. Bahamas and Florida. There it is on the 19th as we head into Saturday. And look how it crosses Florida into the 20th here. So you're going to get some showers and thunderstorms across South Florida. Don't think it'll develop as it crosses Florida, just remaining a wave. But look how quickly, you know, this starts to take the telltale form here of having quite a structure. So this is definitely looking like it's going to be a system. Whether it becomes a hurricane, most likely not. But you know what? The sea surface temperatures are crazy warm here in the Gulf. So if we get any shear or mid-level dry air weakening, this thing could really blow up pretty fast. But look at the landfall. The GFS has it right around the 22nd. You know, the evening of the 22nd, right around between 8 and 11 p.m. here. Now, as we continue to go in time, yeah, there's another system that tries to form behind it. Let's take a look and see if we can get it here. There's another system on the 24th, so we're going to keep pinwheeling these systems. Now, let's see if that system that showed up on the European model is showing up. Yeah, there it is. It's a little bit weaker here on the European model, but there it is on the 30th. You can see it ejecting right. It crosses from the Pacific right into the Gulf of Mexico, and it does try to develop into something. So it is showing up on both models. So things are... Oh, All right, there was something crossing over into South Florida here. Let's take a look at that. So let's take a look at our systems out here. You know, you have Invest 98 here, 99, as well as our next potential system. So let's continue to put this into motion. Yeah, look at it coming through the Lesser Antilles through the 20th here. Let's see what happens with the moisture. It does start to look pretty impressive here to the 21st, 5 p.m. So this is right on Monday. So we could be looking at the potential for possibly a tropical storm that moves towards Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands here. Look at how that continues towards the north. It does pull some moisture up towards the west here. Still kind of dry in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. But watch this as we continue in time. This does start to go a little bit more towards the north. You know, the flow pattern does get quicker here on the GFS than it does, say, on the European model. And look at this, you know, there's Bermuda right there, Hamilton, Bermuda. It looks like the systems are safely going to the east here on this model solution. So far, you're looking okay here in Bermuda. But look at this as we continue in time. I wanted to show you a system. Let's just go over here for a second towards our Invest systems. So, yeah. Here's what happens to them on the GFS. You have that first system. It kind of combines forces on what looks like a trough of, it almost looks like a long drawn out trough of low pressure, but these are actually two tropical systems here in close proximity with each other. Here's our Invest 98L here. So as we continue in time, you can see that does stay weak. It does look like it washes out completely almost on the GFS here through the 22nd into the, and then it just regenerates and heads off towards the northeast as our area of high pressure retreats, and it does get caught up in some sort of frontal boundary here. Here's that high pressure, and there's that trough behind it. But the feature that was showing up here crossing South Florida, let's take a look at that. That actually comes from, here's another system on the 26th. There's another bigger wave starting to exit at this time. Watch this as we continue to go in time. I know this is going pretty far out on the GFS. This is 198 hours, so a lot can change, but look how fast this tropical wave comes off the Cape Verde Islands. Yeah, we could be looking at a storm there, but look at this system here. Yeah, the GFS notoriously does this. Look at a major hurricane across the Caribbean islands and continues to plow it westward here into parts of Cuba and then swings it up towards parts of South Florida. I caution you with this because this is so far out. It's not even funny, so we're not going to really talk much about that. But as far as you getting rainier across the Caribbean islands, unfortunately, it's looking a little bit less here as we go out in time than it was, say, a couple days ago, although you do start to get some showers and thunderstorm action as we head towards the 25th here into the 26th. And then look at, yeah, we really can't go out that far. So Hilary, Major Hurricane Hilary. Let's take a look and see what the GFS is showing here. So as we head throughout, look at that. That's a solid eye. So as we head into Saturday, here it is, into Sunday, yeah, it starts to weaken, but it's accelerating. So that is the concern here, is that its effects will be felt very far to the north here. Look at all this deep moisture as well. There's going to be tremendous wind with this. Yeah, this is 8 p.m. on the 20th. So this is like, yeah, we're getting into later Sunday here. The GFS does seem to be a little bit, actually it is just as fast pretty much as the European model. It does, look how fast it moves from 8 a.m. on Sunday. Look at that. And then it's making landfall there just south of San Diego. And then moving right up through. Look at that. Maintaining its, that's kind of crazy there. Look at that. So let's just back up just a little here. I'll show you the evolution of this. There it is. That is a tremendous storm. It's definitely going to break records here. And as we continue northward here, look how fast it moves. It's up into Montana and Idaho by the 22nd. That's how and look at that. The moisture actually makes it into parts of central Canada Will that actually give you some beneficial rain to help stop some of these wildfires? That would be great, wouldn't it? So thanks to Tropical Tidbits here. I wanted to show you the mid-level dry air here. The common theme here is looking as we head through Monday, August 21st. You can see the dry air these systems are going to be battling. Lots of dry air across the central, the MDR here. These systems do try to hold their own, though. You can see them lining up here as we continue through next week, the 22nd into the 23rd. It's not until about the 24th and 25th we really start to see things moisten up here across parts of the Caribbean. Still a lot of dry air out here into the MDR as we head through the 25th. And into the last part of August, you can see we do have, there's some pretty formidable storms forming out here. More moisture here and moistening up here into the Gulf of Mexico as well. Now let's head to the Caribbean. I know many of you from Jamaica, Cayman Islands, you want some rain all the way over to Belize. Now we do get some rain initially with a tiny wave here. I mean, it is going to be small, 15 to 25 millimeters, which is getting upwards of about, into that half-inch range of rain. That's not what you'd really like to see, but look at this as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and next week. We do start to see some more in the form of rainfall. Central America getting quite a bit, but look at there across Jamaica. It's right around, there's the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, and they're right around the 27th and 28th. That's when the European model really fills things in. You get 60 to as much as 90 millimeters of rain. That is a solid 2 to 3.5 inches of rain. So as we get over towards the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, let's see what we've got going on. There's that first wave as we head late weekend into next week. Lesser Antilles up to just south of Puerto Rico. There's the island of Hispaniola. That's worrisome because look at this. Anywhere in the red, you're getting upwards of 60 to 100 millimeters. That is essentially the 2.5, 3.5 inches. Look at here into the island of Hispaniola. We're getting up here towards 150, 200 inches, or 200 millimeters, I should say. Inches, that's a conversion more closer to 8, 10, even 12 plus inches of rain in some of these areas. So this is a little bit worrisome. That is an island that does get hit really hard with rainfall. And as you can see, that bends towards just north of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico ending up with about, on average 90 to 110 millimeters. So you're averaging out to about 3.5, 4 inches of rainfall in some areas. So the rainfall with Hilary, look at this. Here's our European model. The good news is it's going to be a fast mover. So it is going to limit rainfall amounts to about 4 to 6 inches, with locally higher amounts to 8 inches possible, because there's going to be those areas where training of the moisture is going to take effect. You do see most of it is east of LA. If you're on the western end of LA, you're almost getting nothing because of the center of circulation. It's bringing in dry air from the northwest. But look at eastern part of LA down to San Diego on east and northward here. That's where you're going to get the tremendous amount of rainfall. All right, so our HRRR model here, as we head throughout the rest of your Friday night into Saturday here, take a look at this. Yeah, we're going to start to see clearing out across much of the east. This is high pressure building in. Maybe a little bit around the edges here, South Florida and Maine. Look at our system, our mesoscale model picking up on Major Hurricane Hilary over here. That is interesting. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that is a rarity to see on our mesoscale model. But look at this as we head in time. This is what I wanted to show you. Take a look at this. So we're mostly clear across the Ohio Valley into the northeast here. But look at this. If you can pick it up here, let me just put it into motion just a little bit. So as we head throughout the rest of Saturday here, look what's coming across South Florida. This is our system that we're looking into here that may eventually develop in the next couple days out here in the central and western Gulf. This is going to be a big deal as we go in time because that's going to be our weather maker, our biggest weather maker, especially across the Gulf of Mexico here. And you see how it starts to really produce quite a number of showers and thunderstorms as we head into Sunday, right around 2 p.m. here. So look at that. Stays really nice across the northeast, but let's go out west here. Yeah, we're using the mesoscale model for our major hurricane. Let's just back this up just a few frames. Look at Major Hurricane Hilary just pinwheeling right up along the coastline here of the Baja of California. This is right around Sunday night, or Sunday morning, I should say, at 8 a.m. Look at that. yeah, this thing's really booking it. So it should be a Category 2 knocked down to a Category 1 right around Sunday afternoon. But look how fast this starts to move. Yeah, you can see it's going to start to make landfall here along the Baja California as we head into 2 a.m. right around Monday. That's when it really starts to accelerate north. And some of the models like the European and the GFS accelerating this even faster. So yeah, the effects are going to be felt way up here into California. And look at the amount of tropical moisture. This is of great concern because mudslides, tremendous wind, and we do know this, tropical systems that come into Southern California bring a tremendous amount of heat with them as well. I have plenty more weather here. Stay tuned for the rest of my video, but I have a quick announcement here from my affiliate. Take a look at this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So taking a look at our European run here, let's take a look. Yeah, pretty quiet here except around the edges. Look at this. There's South Florida. There's up there in Maine as we head through Sunday. And there's Hilary just coming up along the Baja of California. There's the European model pushing it up there, 995 millibars. That is insane. Yeah, tropical storm making it into Southern California. High pressure continuing to build across the East Coast, pushing our tropical wave westward. Look at the moisture plume making it all the way up to Montana here by Monday. That is crazy to even think about here. That accelerates pretty fast. That's going to be the big weather maker. And then here into the Gulf of Mexico, you see the European model taking off later Monday into Tuesday. There it is. European model really initializing it here into the Western Gulf, making landfall later Tuesday evening, it looks like there, just right around South Texas. There's our high pressure building into the northeast, but you can definitely see a trough here. That's definitely evident as we continue to go in time. That system moves inland, kind of washes out. Then we have another area. It's just off the screen. You can kind of see it here towards the pivotal weather icon there, and that heads up towards the north. That's our system. Now, look what's happening here. Let me just back this up. You see there's a pretty dry week shaping up here from much of the east. You only have a few chances of rain as you head towards Thursday. Towards Friday, though, the 25th, you could start to see some strong to severe thunderstorms breaking out here across the Ohio Valley and eastern lakes. Look at that. And into next Saturday as well. That drops south across Ohio, the lakes, and the northeast, setting up for a very stormy and rainy weekend next Saturday and Sunday, the 26th and the 27th across the northeast. And that kind of washes out as high pressure builds in from Monday, the 28th, and we got another severe weather round. And look at this. There's that next tropical wave into the western Gulf of Mexico. We have plenty of time to watch that one as well. So as we take a look at total liquid equivalent precipitation, there's not going to be much as we head through Tuesday here, except South Florida. You could see upwards of 2 to 3, maybe locally higher inches. They're into the northern northeast, especially northern New York, really northern New York, I'm saying upstate. And then, of course, we get into Maine, New Hampshire. We could be looking at a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. But look at the deal here into Southern California, Nevada. This is upwards of 4, 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of rain, especially on the east side of that circulation. Look at across South Texas. We're getting upwards of 2.5, 3.5, locally higher to 4 inches likely as that moves westward. And look at as we head towards that last weekend here of August. Look what's going on here in the parts of the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. We started August wet. We're going to end August on a wet note as well. Cleveland up to Buffalo into parts of Pennsylvania, New York, you're averaging about an inch or two, with locally higher 4 inches. So here we go. Look at this. So as we head throughout the weekend, the main areas are going to be here in northern New England, where you're getting upwards of about a half an inch on average. Maybe some areas 3/4 of an inch. Look at this. We head all the way through Wednesday. Maybe a little spritzels here until we get to Thursday. We start to see some showers and thunderstorms breaking out across northeast Ohio, western Pennsylvania, as we get a system moving in. So we might get some heavier downpours as we head into next weekend. Look at that. Averaging out to about 3/4 of an inch to an inch with locally higher amounts. So your weekend temperatures here for your Saturday, heat dome all the way into the central plains here, hundreds all the way up to South Dakota. Here in the lakes in the northeast, we're stuck in the mid-70s for the most part, upper 60s there in northern New England with the clouds and the rain. But watch this as we head into Sunday. The heat dome expands a little bit here into the central states. We're actually getting up towards 92 there in parts of central and southern Ohio, 87 in Cleveland, Ohio, 86 in Rochester. So our heat is kind of building here across the east, as well as parts of the Pacific Northwest, well into the 90s into your Monday. Look at this. The heat dome building massively here across the central part of the states, 90s, mid to upper 90s there in the nation's capital. It is heating up. Let's go with your Monday. Yeah, we get a little bit of a cool front moving through parts of the northeast, cooling it back down to the 70s to near 80, but look at hundreds all the way up to South Dakota. You can see out west here behind Hilary, yeah, it's acting like a trough, much cooler. And that stays. That just brings the heat dome even stronger here across the central states. Look at that, 98, almost 100 degrees near Atlanta. Staying in the 70s into the northeast. Look at this as we get towards Wednesday, August 23rd. That heat dome continues to expand. Look at that, 97 there and 99 around Columbus, Ohio. That is crazy, up near 90 in Cleveland. Staying in the 70s into parts of the northeast. And as we get into Thursday, August 24th, you can see the heat dome definitely trying to expand across parts of the southeast here. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna River Valley. Take a look at this. For your weekend, partly sunny and to mostly sunny skies throughout the rest of the weekend. Beautiful mid-70s into Saturday. Look at that sleeping weather in the 50s into Sunday. Mid-80s likely into Monday. Lower 80s. We cool it down for later towards the early to middle part of the week again into the mid to high 70s. Just a beautiful time of it. Yes, we are getting out that beautiful weather. Enjoy. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MeteoMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes out.